Hello! Today you're going to make a foldable, a square roots foldable, which will help you study for your perfect squares quiz. So, in order to do that, on the outside you're going to put your square roots out here. On the inside are your perfect squares. So if you look right here, that's 121. That is 11 squared. So you could ask yourself, when you're studying, what's the square root of 121? And you would say in your head 11, and then you would flip it here to see if that's right. You use it the other way by looking at the outside number and saying, what's 10 squared? And then you say to yourself, 100, and then you open it up and you see if that's correct. Okay? So, inside, out on the outside, we've got our square roots. On the inside, you've got your perfect squares. Okay? In order to do this, you will need a pair of scissors. You will need a marker. You will need glue. You will also need the piece of cardstock that I gave you, these two pieces of paper, half sheets of paper that I gave you, and then you might also want this paper right here. It's in your notes. It has your perfect squares and that sort of stuff on it, so you might want that to look at as well. So I'm going to set that aside for now. So first step, start off with one of your purple pieces of paper, your half sheets, okay? The idea here is that you want to have two open doors. So you want it to flip out like that. So what I do is I'm not going to fold it completely in half. I'm just going to kind of fold it in half, and I'm going to put a crease in the center like that, okay? So then now you have that crease. So now fold these outside edges to match the inside like this. So now what you have are these two little doors that open, okay? So now there are 8 flaps on each side, so you're going to have a total of 16 flaps. So the fastest way to do the flaps, I think, is to just go ahead and take one flap, cut it in half, and then cut it in half, and then cut it in half again. So let me show you. So we'll do one side first. Start here. This looks like it's about the halfway point. If you're not sure, and you really want it to be perfect because you're a perfectionist, you could crease it again, and there you go. There's that halfway point, okay? But you don't have to do that. You can just guess. So that's half, okay? And so what I've just done is I have 2 halves now, and take those 2 halves and cut that in half. I'm totally ignoring my phone right now because this is like the 3rd time I've tried to do this video. Alright, so there we go. Now you've got 4, and you want 8 on that side. So we're going to cut this in half, and then in half again, and half again, and half again. So if you look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flaps. Do the same thing to the other side. So if you missed it, let's do it again. You're going to cut it in half. And then in half again. And then in half again. And then cut the 4 flaps in half, and half, and half. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so now you have a total of 16 flaps. Alright, so you're going to do that to your other piece of paper as well. But I've already had one done because I don't feel like doing it twice. Okay, so you guys do that twice. So for right now, just stick with one. The next thing you're going to do is glue it on. So this part right here, the back, you put some glue there. You can be doing it with me. And I don't care where you put it. You can put it like this, or I'm just going to put it like that. Okay? Don't cover the holes because you need the holes to be able to put it back in your binder. There we go. Do it again. Alright. Now, when you go to write in your numbers, let's grab our marker, okay? For our numbers, I'm going to write on the first flap square roots. So right here, I'm going to write square roots on both sides. So we know that the outside is our square roots. On the inside, I'm going to write the word perfect squares. Same with the other side. Inside, perfect squares. So if you missed that, what I've got right here now is it says square roots on the outside, perfect squares on the inside. So now, I don't want you to, on the outside, to just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, mix it up. But you got to keep track of which ones you're putting on here, so it's best to just do one at a time. So here we go. We're going to start with taking your list. So if you have this paper right here, the numbers that go on the outside are these numbers right here. Okay? And so on the outside, I'm just going to start with writing down numbers. So I'm going to start with 1. I'm going to put 1 here. You don't have to put 1 there. You can put it anywhere you want. And then 2 in a different spot. Just don't go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put 2 here. And then 3. And then 4. And then 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. And 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We don't need 21. We're going now to 25. So we go 25. We don't need anything up until 30. So now we do 30, 40, 50. So we go 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay? And there we go. I've got all of the perfect squares on the, or all the square roots on the outside. So now on the inside, you're going to write what that number is squared. So my paper's not filled out, but yours is at home. These right here is the square of the number. So what I would do, test yourself right now. Try it. 25 squared. What's 25 squared? 625. So you write 625 in here. And then 1 squared. 1 squared is 1, so you put 1 right here. 10 squared, 100. 100. 20 squared, 400. 12 squared, 144. 5 squared, 25. 19 squared, 361. Okay? That's all I'm going to do for now because I think you can finish out the rest. But basically, when you go to study, the best way, I think, to study is to first start off by looking at the numbers on the outside. Now, I'm going to get the one that I already have that's finished. So when I study, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say 1 squared is 1, 19 squared, 361, 11 squared, 121. And I'm going to end up opening them all. The ones that I don't know, I'm going to keep closed until I do know. Okay? Once all of them are open, then bring it back. Look on the inside and say, okay, what's 225 squared? 15. If you have it, close it. What's the square root? Sorry, not squared. Let's go back to that. 225, you have to say, what's the square root of 225? Not 225 squared. Because if you say 225 squared, I'm asking, what's 225 times 225? And that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, what is the square root of 225? So I'm going to then say, that's 15. I'm going to close it. Over here, the square root of 1 is 1. Close it. Square root of 361, 19. Close it. Square root of 25, 5. Close it. Square root of 100, 10. Square root of 121, 11. And so that's how you use it. Okay? And you want to make sure you know all of these. You should be able to do 30 of these in under 3 minutes. Okay? If you have any questions, bring it to class. Bye.